So we both do the same thing. Is that going to be okay?
That's totally fine. So let's start with your name, unless you guys go by the same.
I'm Trevor. I'm an engineering manager on the Lens Studio team.
Hi, my name is Artem, and I'm engineering manager in Lens Studio team. I'm just wondering if we want
Screen wipe out. Yeah, what is Lens Studio? It's it's a desktop application for making lenses. It's also, I think of it as like a gateway to creating just awesome AR. It's your gateway to a really powerful AR platform. So Lens Studio has been built from the ground up for AR. And so obviously, like any good AR engine has to have solid tracking tech. So on the face side, we have best-in-class 3D face mesh tracking. Lets creators do everything from putting realistic paint on their face to really wild transformations to other types of creatures. On the world side, obviously we have connections to surface tracking. We're leveraging some of the latest features on some of the new hardware that's come out. So it's more than just understanding surfaces now. We have semantic information about the world. We know about tables and chairs and walls and ceilings, and it lets creators transform the entire environment around them. We have so many different kinds of tracking baked into Lens Studio. We have marker tracking. We have landmarker tracking, which lets creators transform all of these amazing landmarks around the world into art creations. So scripting in Lens Studio is using JavaScript to add custom logic to your lens. So there's a lot you can do without scripting in Lens Studio, but if you wanted to do something as complicated as make a game, you're going to have to jump in and use some JavaScript. So in Lens Studio, you have a script component. You double-click on it, and then you have an IDE that lets you write JavaScript. It does syntax highlighting, it does autocomplete, it will show you where your errors are. If the error in the logger is unclear, you're not sure where, you can double-click, it will take you to the line in the code where the error is and let you find it very quickly.
is basically you can add custom logic to your lens by writing JavaScript code. And remember, we were adding a script editor to Lens Studio where you can IDE inside of Lens Studio where you can conveniently write the code and just allows people to spend less time doing that and basically being more productive in it. Yeah. And with writing the code, it is similar to SnapML in some way because you can extend the capabilities, but it kind of allows you to combine different things in Lens Studio in such a way that you can showcase your creativity.
I would add on to what Artem said that scripting lets people build something once and reuse it multiple times. So we definitely see creators building libraries of convenient tools and then reusing them to make more and more complex experiences.
Lens Studio is also a community of people who create for AR. And if you want to jump into it, you can join, and there is a lot of people who care, a lot of people who help, including Snap, definitely, but beside us, it's just a community of creators, and they can help you. I think if you're interested in AR, you can just jump into Lens Studio, join the community, and go.
Yeah, we definitely have people who aren't that familiar with code who are still able to jump in and make use of pieces of script that they've gotten off of the forum. So it's as easy as posting a question. Hey, I really want to, can anyone help me write a script that will do this? And it's a really great community. People will copy and paste snippets of code to help each other out.
Super kind, yeah.
We talked about all these different kinds of creators. You have people with different backgrounds, different disciplines, but they are united by this idea of wanting to create AR and make cool lenses. And so one person asking for help in one situation is the person offering the help in another. And so it's a very positive, symbiotic community, and definitely everyone gets a lot out of participating in it. Lens Studio is not just tracking. If you're going to transform the world around you, it's got to look great. And so we have best-in-class rendering. We have just awesome graphics. We have the material editor, which lets users configure materials to pull off really crazy special effects without them having to worry about all the details of the GPUs that these lenses are going to run on. We have particle systems, we have animated textures, video textures, anything that you want to do to overlay or transform your world around you. Last year, we also realized that we didn't want to restrict what people could do. And so we added SnapML, which is the only platform of its kind in AR, which lets people import their own models. And this lets them track anything that they want. So the idea is that this is the first feature in Lens Studio that actually lets you extend the capabilities of the platform. We can get into what a model is, what the steps are for using machine learning models in a lens. But yeah, that's the key, is that so far all the features that we've described are tools that are in our toolbox, and the number of different experiences that you can make by combining them is vast. But if we really want to unlock creativity and let folks do whatever they can think of, we had to find a way to let people expand the number of tools in that toolbox. And so SnapML is that. It's not a lens feature itself. It lets people bring in features so that they can have a one-of-a-kind lens. So building AR on a desktop is not easy. You want to be able to test it out on a phone, because this is where AR shines. And so Lens Studio has been designed to let users, creators, really easily and fluidly push their experience to a phone. You can pair your phone directly with Lens Studio and then push your lens right into Snapchat. It's nearly instantaneous, and this is a really awesome flow for creators. They can make changes in Lens Studio, push them to the phone, and test it out in AR in real time.
Sometimes it's even great because you can test some things that you don't have on your phone yet, right? Like LiDAR.
Oh, true. Yeah, so we also understand that people don't have every device that's out there in the market that our Snapchat users have. So we have device simulation baked into Lens Studio that lets people try out different kinds of phones right within Lens Studio and see how it's going to behave. That came in handy with our latest release, where we had support for the iPhone 12, which wasn't out yet. So when we think about who our creators are, we think about them as our customers, and we know that there's a lot of different customers. There's people who are professional developers, there's people who are illustrators, there are people who are AR enthusiasts. They have a lot of different backgrounds. And we want everyone to be able to come into Lens Studio and find an accessible tool. So we think that there's paths for everyone to jump in and get started. We don't want anyone to be limited by the tool itself. We want them to be empowered to build whatever they can, imagine.
I think at the beginning we actually focused more to make the tool as simple as possible, to cover as many use cases as possible. But then as time goes, we understand that more people kind of start to understand AR way better, kind of try to shift into this more professional tool, give you all the tools possible so you can actually, unlock all your creativity there, and it doesn't restrict you in any way.
Yeah, I agree. Our philosophy from the beginning has been make it accessible, make it easy for anyone to be able to jump in and create, but also be able to go deep. So if you're a professional engineer, you can do anything you could in any other tool as far as coding goes. If you're a professional animator, you can do anything that you would be able to do in another creative tool. So bring what you're good at and be able to go deep. My Lenses is the portal that lets creators manage all of the lenses that they've pushed into the Snapchat ecosystem. They can see which lenses are live, they can see which lenses they've archived, they can get information about view statistics and how many times it's been unlocked or shared.
Yeah, basically this is your instrument to figure out what lens is good and what lens is not good enough. Yeah, so this is something that can help you to navigate through the world, to understand what people want to see and how you can create for it. A lot of people still kind of don't call it lens. They call it mask or a filter. And it's not a filter, it doesn't filter something out. It's a lens through which you look at the world. And anytime I kind of talk with friends about Lens Studio or Snap or lenses in general, they also kind of don't get it. I feel it's unfair just because the filter name or mask name was kind of the first, I guess. It was an old one and it has, just different meaning. People still use it and they don't get the meaning of lens itself. So a lens is an application in AR world, and AR is something that's kind of outside, and you look through the lens in a world, and it's definitely not a filter. It's not something that filters something from a world, and it's not a mask, not something that masks a world. It's something that you just hook through it. And then Lens Studio in this case is something that helps you to create a lens, this application in AR world. The team is very excited to announce release of Lens Studio 3.3, and there are a lot of heavy features in it. And this time we were focused on the developer productivity. So this release includes some of the features like visual scripting. So visual scripting is something that lowers the barrier. You don't have to know how to code, but you should be able to, have some logic, and most people have. And so you have a graphical tool, not based. You can lay out the graph of basically the flow of logic in your application and create really complicated apps with it, like games, or just allow users to choose between some options and bring some interactivity in it. Basically, how Trevor says, no code AR. So the other feature which a lot of people were asking about is the logger, and we actually received a lot of requests from our Lens team inside and from community to be able to kind of have more advanced logger, to be able to filter out message, to don't have spam if you have the same messages in the log, so they group together, and to have a search so you can find for very specific things in it, or some things that we had before but just improved, that you can double click on an error message in it and it will navigate you back to the place which caused a problem. Yeah, so that's a pretty good one. And another one is texture compression. And this one is big because our creators have a limit of 4 megabytes, and from product perspective it is important to keep it. And we are searching for ways to kind of allow you to put more into your lens, and then if you can compress some of the information you have, like textures or animated textures, which is more important, then you can have a richer experience.
So we give the creator control over whether they want to bias towards load time and runtime memory, or if they want best quality and maximum compatibility across all the different GPUs that are out there.
Because it's super important, if we want to unlock more use cases in AR, we want to provide you tools, or we want to kind of get rid of that constraint. So it's a balance. We are trying to do it in both ways. So for creators, definitely we want to allow to get more into the lens. But for people who interact with lenses on their mobile phones with the connectivities they have and limited memory, we can't just allow to have a huge lenses, because it will take forever to download and it will just ruin the experience. And so we are also adding a face morph, which is a new template which uses external face mesh. So this template showcases how you can get face mesh and transform it into something different, like an alien head with blend shapes. When you smile, alien smiles and it's so natural, or even kind of a horse or ogre, it's just another character. I think it's pretty amazing, yeah, very fun.
The really amazing thing about this feature is that the topology, the mesh that you import doesn't have to match our mesh. The algorithm's intelligent, and so make it really easy for you to import any kind of face mesh, or any kind of mesh for that matter, and morph to it.
Another template we introduced is configuration template, and it showcases how you can create a lens. It's a try-on lens where you can configure some parts of it. Imagine you create a lens with sunglasses and you want to allow your user to switch between different ones, because everybody's different, want different sunglasses, and so we have 3-5 buttons which you allow users to click, and each time you click on any specific one, you will kind of select another glasses. So these templates make it easy to do that and showcase how exactly you can implement something like that in a lens. And then there is a prototype pack. So we saw that between different projects, we kind of reuse the same assets, same images or animations, and we wanted to make it easy for our community to use those. So our interactive engineers team got those together, and it is a pack. This release also brings a huge update to My Lenses portal. It's My Lenses 2.0, and now you can just use your favorite browser finally to work with it, and don't do it within Lens Studio. I think that's pretty cool. I am, as an engineer, super happy because it lowers our crash rate significantly. Super happy about that. And then for other part of our team, it just allows faster iteration over features. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see all the innovations we will bring together with it.
My name is Alexei, and I am a product manager.
was amazing.
1, 2, and I help engineering teams build amazing products. To decide what to put in the next Lens Studio, we think a lot, and we're approaching the question from many different standpoints. First, you got to understand that AR platform and the AR ecosystem we're building is an evolving organism, and the way we're thinking about roadmap 2 years ago and now are very different situations. And also, you got to understand that Lens Studio serves many customers. There's beginners, there's professionals, there's single creators, there's teams, there's hobbies, there are people who do it for money. So you got to balance the roadmap. But with each release, we're thinking really hard how we can enable our community to have order of magnitude more creative freedom. For example, we started with just being able to track surfaces, but then we took another look, like what's fundamental about the world that we can be a part of. And turns out it's people. So we got face tracking, we got hand tracking, body tracking. And after that, we thought, once we got this bunch of fancy trackers to people, how do we enable the next, paradigm shift? And that's where we're building SnapML component, where everybody, if they put effort and skills in, they can train the machine learning network to track anything they want. In video games, there's a concept of replayability. So, for example, rules do not change, but still people spend thousands of time in there and they figure out amazing strategies and really smart ways to win. And the thinking of the community is always evolving, given the same set of rules. And that is called replayability. And what I want for Lens Studio is to be replayable. So in the world when you got like 1 million lenses on the platform, when you have so many creators, still I want a person who's coming in there for the first time to be able to bring their own perspective, their own skills, their own vision of the world, and create something that nobody has ever seen before. That's what we're striving for. I don't think if you have a tool that is very annoying to use, that is crashing every 2 minutes, that you have to be in some uncomfortable emotional state when you use it. I don't think that helps to create amazing things. So the Lens Studio team has about 100 people, and those people do all sorts of things, from building the engine to building Lens Studio to producing documentation, templates, tutorial videos, everything. And the team is really diverse. For example, people who are working on the engine, they are coming from the competitive programming background. And the thing about competitive programming is that you're trained to write code that runs really, really fast. And that helps a lot for AR. And speaking about lens creation, of course, not everybody on the team is creating lenses, but people who are involved in creation of the tool itself, of course, all of them create lenses time to time. I do create lenses time to time. I have a bunch of them published. And that helps a lot when you get to be in the seat of your customer and you start noticing all these little things that are less comfortable that you can improve. And yeah, that also helps us to define the roadmap. One of the things I'm very proud about our team and our community is about a very close and intimate connection that's built. So for creators who have feedback and who have specific wishes for a Lens Studio, the best thing to do would be to go to forum and start a thread saying, I want this and that, and be sure the team will see that. So I want to say, keep building. There's a lot we don't know about the technologies we're releasing, and this is exactly the reason why we release them, because we want you to figure out what's the next big thing.
When we started building Lens Studio, we didn't have a community, and so we were just guessing what people would like, and we were guessing what people would do with it. It's been humbling to see what people have done, the community that they've created, the way that they help each other out, the way that they innovate, the way that they push us to continue to innovate. And I feel like last year we reached this really important tipping point in Lens Studio where there was so much functionality inside that people were creating it in ways that we didn't even think about. And then we released SnapML, and now we have Lens Studio 3.3 coming out with all these amazing new technologies. And I just see us like accelerating, and I think the community is really like finding awesome ways to combine all these technologies.
I think for our community, I would say create whatever, explore AR, and there is no right answers in it. You can be people who define what it is actually, to use this moment and explore.